Thank you for tuning in, guys. We are actually gonna do a 1500s run right now, and I will be monetary and pretty much commentary everything over here of our no prep run. We will start off with Tekton. It's not my strong suit in this gear, to be really honest. So I just banked a couple of things, so we can obviously therefore take out a couple of overloads and things like that Tekton is gonna drop. We also gonna manage the quick player here just for convenience. And then long range. This is a method that isn't per se the best one, but it helps for an hit in. Just a single hit, but we had 0. Then we're gonna spec. I'm actually gonna walk backwards 1 tick. So I actually don't proc it. Well, protect from melee. And now I actually made a small mistake and did the BGS job there. Gonna set everything on crush because I'm not gonna do much with splash, I think, but I tried anyway. Over here, I actually will grab my mage pack, I think. Yes. By the way, standing closer to Tekton is technically better, but with this gear, you're not gonna go for a world record or anything like that. Yeah. Gonna take a hit soon because I still have. Oh, no, never mind. I think I wanted to, yes, proc it there in the hope that I actually can do a 2 down. But we're not hitting in this gear that much. It's basically just walking around, do a hit, walk around, do a hit. So for those who don't know, if he faces you, he hits you, and he faces you also to a hit on where his blade axe is, not his Warhammer axe. So behind him and where his hammer is, they are his dead zones. He cannot actually tag you. So that's why you always run a certain way and never counterclockwise, That doesn't really work that much. So we overload over here. We're going to drop the overloads due to the fact that we're going to get a new one anyway, of course, from Vasa. On over here, the troll with obviously a Phoenix necklace on. So we get a little bit of redemption back. Makes sense? Not particularly the best, because in a way you also miss your hit with the anguish on, but I just prefer it this way. Slightly more HP, but a little bit less damage. So we're basically over here just siding away. I'm not gonna really bring a rapier, crazy rapier or whatever, right? It's just not worth the inventory in my opinion. I got pretty much bad RNG. Normally it only takes like a 2 hit and it's down. This was a 4, I think, with the scythe. So yeah, that's twice as slow as it's supposed to be. But hey, it happens. Always unequip your boots for a little bit more DPS. Don't get hit by the balls, of course, that he throws. 40, we're not going to hit that. That was a 1. And a 40, we have it over here. I also instantly switched to melee. It's not necessary, but you don't know whether you really killed him or not, if that makes sense. So pick up everything. And that's why earlier on the Scavenger, we banked a lot. Now we pretty much have everything picked up. It's if you know what the monsters are going to drop and what you're going to use yourself in supplies, try to manage that in a way so you precisely know your inventory. Makes sense, right? It really will help you out. By the way, this is not my current setup that I normally would run with, so everything goes unevenly because I have uneven switches. It's a little bit difficult. The reason that I right now actually banked once more some supplies is so I can either find the grubs by accident or whatever, and also have some inventory managing for the pets. Sorry, I think it's precisely the other way around. Inventory for if I have lucky on the bed or not, and otherwise the grubs. So if you go for speedrun, you only want to maybe, let's say, drop in 7 a time on the trot. But if you're not going for speedrun, you can do like 14 or something like that, like halfway. You need 15, so that's halfway. But yeah, we're not going for speed in this setup, of course. When I speedrun, I have just max gear, and I don't really do this on this account. It's more my alt account. But still. Anyway, I really enjoy that. With the 99 thieving that I have on this account, you always pretty much 1 or 2 tick your chest, and not precisely 5 or 6, which I have on my alt. That's just horrible. So if you do, for example, in challenge mode, you really want to kill a Scavenger in hope you get a lockpick. That makes sense, right? But don't really go out of your way, because that counterclockwise your time, and you're more inevitably going for a worse time if you scav too long, if that makes sense. So now we have Guardians and Crabs after. Since we have Crabs after, which does not require any spec, you have an option, of course, to do your special attack once it is there. Or a pickaxe, or BGS. I think BGS is actually worse, but I could be wrong in solo. So I think actually a pickaxe might be better, but don't quote me on that. It really depends on your level, actually, on mining as well. I think if your mining level is between 95 and 99, pickaxe spec pretty much does nothing. But if you're 99 and you go to 102, you actually get a max hit, or 1 or 2. So it's technically better to BGS if you're 95 than to spec. But below 95 and above 95, 99, is good. But everything between 95 and 99, BGS is better. I think that's... Yeah, I did the math a couple months ago. But I'm kind of rusty on the math, you know? It's been a while, and I actually do think if you do Maul, you're always better off. But don't quote me on that. We're basically now here doing the step back, 2 steps back, 1 step front, which saves a little bit of run energy. It's not really needed, especially if you have a lot of run energy. You don't really need to preserve it, and you can save 1 singular click by just going 2 steps back, 2 steps front. But I'm so used to always getting out of run energy that is, you know, I use that middle step to pretty much save some run energy. That's about it. So do whatever you please. If you have a lot of stamina, go for it, and who cares about your energy, right? Next over here, I will just basically pick something up, because we have a Warhammer. I totally forgot that. So you're never, ever, ever gonna get a clean room here if you have a BGS. It just won't happen. Basically, I start off with the Ranger, attack everything, smash everything over here, and then due to the fact that honestly we are just so late, it's not a really... I think this is a 1 minute 5, I think, at this point, due to the fact that he had to pick up the hammer, pretty much. Anyway, last one over here, I re-stun. You have more than enough time to stun between the mage and the black and white one. It will not ever tag you a red due to stun if you do it properly. So that's good to know. We stun it over there, and then basically stun the last one over here, and we instantly run towards the entrance to save a little bit of time, you know, spam click it and just go at it. Good luck, you know. Now we are actually pretty much are ready for Olm in subpar gear for my own experience. We enter around 9 minutes, I think, so that's... I would say that's not really bad for a bad no prep, or bad gear no prep, I could say. It will be very bad for, honestly, with my full setup, right? That's more likely a 5 minute give or take. But now we pretty much pick up everything that we want. Gonna re-overload, gonna use the bats for health. And then once the bats are consumed, it's a little bit more points because you eat from bats, right? But it downgrades your time by a lot due to the fact that you have to second bank again. You know, you bank once for the bats or the other things, and then you bank again to, you know, refill whatever you lost out of the bats, if that makes sense. So yeah, over here we get everything, we enter, we drop 1 item on the ground, or 2. It really depends on how your setup is run. BGS, and never hit. Lucky. I tried to cripple it, never crippled. I actually missed that. I clicked on the head instead of the arm. Tried to cripple again. And we basically lost a tick there, so we had to force walk and turn him. I always like to do the mage troll first, because if you cripple and you have a melee troll up, you're pretty much trolling and wasting everything. I tried to re-cripple it and go back at it, and God, we finally managed that. Now we have some peace of mind, right? Unequip the boots, because it's worse DPS for mage. And we just consistently go from skip to 1 to 2. So if you have, let's say we start now on skip, right? Then 1 and hit, and 2 is 1 game tick waiting. And while you actually click, you also click back on the skip square. Otherwise you will be dragged unsuccessfully, and you end up actually at somewhere around 1.4 and you stop walking. So it's very important if you stand on tile 2 that you also click on skip. So you have a proper drag to the middle. And if you always attack on the 1.4 tile, you must always wait on the 2 tile. So over here we're a bit late, so I actually go back. And now we should be in a 1 to or 3 to 1, if I'm correct. So yep, that seems to be. Oh, never mind. Now we had 2 hits for 3 hits, which means we can only do 2 hits. If you have an improper 3 to 1, you can always fix it by actually doing 1 fewer hit for the next cycle. And then you always be set in cycle. So think about it like this way. You attack, you see that you hit 3 times, and you get hit 2 times. But you are in the proper walking, batting cycle, right? So you're technically in cycle, but only the attacks are improperly. Just keep up the pace and hit 1 time fewer. You will always auto-set yourself in the proper cycle after that one. So you're in the cycle already, but the attacks are not aligned. 2 attacks fewer, perfect. It's so easy. Like, I cannot stress enough how easy that actually is. Since we pretty much have no spec, I'm going to start with mage over here. I had to step 1 step back, otherwise I would have been hit. Now I'm actually doing a special attack, not too bad, we actually did hit. I'm going to run all the way to the mage side, so I didn't get hit. This actually does lose a whole 5 ticks, but hey, you know, we're not for speed here, and I'm actually just stabbing him live there in an... Okay, so it's better to hit actually with the scythe than do a full switch and not hit, if that makes sense. So you rather have a 20 extra or cripple or clench, right? Than not hitting at all, if that makes any sense. Due to the fact that then you're completely out of cycle. So over here we're going back from skip to 1.4 to 2.3. You always wait 1 game tick on 2.3, otherwise you will be early, and therefore he will keep turning middle, and you will auto attack consistently from him, and special attacks could occur and whatnot from the middle. If this actually happened and you go for middle, you can either go to the mage as I did, or you just decide to tank 1 and keep in cycle. Keeping in cycle is technically faster, but you have to tank more. And while learning it, I would highly recommend that you actually go towards the other side of the field if he turns middle, and just run towards the mage side, and therefore you don't really have any problems, because, you know, you're not dealing with a tank and hit. Okay, I misclicked that one. So now I was too late there, so I'm waiting. Okay, he turns on the same game tick that he turns to mage. I'm actually running to middle, and we should be always fine. Don't forget to overload, obviously. And we are crippling him again. Perfect. He turns properly because we have the troll out. Troll is really nice for consistent walking. The extra DPS on the arm is so nice. Even though they're only hitting max of a 3, the big significant difference is you're consistently hitting, if that makes sense. Okay, so basically I was out of prayer there, a little bit mistake. Okay, so now I know that spikes occur. I do 1 extra hit, It turns, but I was too late. So I'm gonna tank an extra hit here. And I see special attacks. So that means I will just only do one hit, and then I go back. This way I auto-skip the portals, and we should be fine, and we should be in cycle as well. But that's only one hit, and that was it. Perfect. Now we're in 3-1, but my damage is beyond fine, therefore it doesn't really matter. Because we couldn't really seem to cripple him, and therefore we had consistently low hits that already kind of chipped off a lot, right? Due to the fact that it didn't cripple, we started the melee phase with half HP on the arm. And therefore, if you then miss, for example, improper cycle, yeah, you're basically already done when you reach the cycle. I'm gonna scythe hit here. Okay, didn't hit really much. And it won't cripple because it's phase 3, obviously. But the reason that I just try to spec once and hit is so I can regen my special attack here. I think I timed that perfectly. Nope, I did not. That's too bad. Okay, go back to mage. Not gonna get hit, so I will run to mage again. The mage side. Obviously, now we have to wait a game to clear and go at it perfectly, right? Side. So this method is slightly more difficult that I'm actually doing because I try to get them both low at the same time. Every time that I just run, I also go from skip pretty much towards 1.4 to do a scythe hit in. It's more sweaty, but it is actually somewhat more consistent, I will say. You can do this also with a Tumicum, but that is extremely sweaty. It's not fun because you need to do a proper 8-way every time to make it pretty much every hit. And this is roughly about 2 or 3 hits with mage, and then you go to 1 melee hit once he turns, and then you go back to the other side so he doesn't see you, and then you mage again. It's actually a very fun method if you're somewhat experienced to always just swap towards the melee in between your run towards the middle. It really is fun to turn this around and just give it a try, you know? Okay, summon a troll again. It's a little bit, I see, the thing is, I'm not used to these switches on the gear. It's improper switching due to the fact that I have a dual wield with a 2-hand. It throws me off so bad. I can maybe make a guide on it at some point for both dual wielding or both 2H. Because then you have always the same amount of switches in the same amount of spots. I really dislike I'm by the way in a 3-2 here, so technically I only need to do 2 hits, which I do here. Perfect. And we are in cycle. But yeah, I can make, for example, a guide at some point for how to switch and turn from, melee to range or mage consistently. But that's up to you guys. It is actually more fun to do it than just one side each. It only works in phase 3 because all the other phases are just consistently crippling, of course. And by the way, this method with Bova, I always miss sticks with Bova. I'm so not used to it. It's not fun for me in Bova. It's really strong if you can properly manage it in the way of, let's say, setting a correct cycle. Because it's not stronger than a blowpipe, for example. It's definitely not. But if you have a Dragon Hunter crossbow, therefore, you could maybe properly set it up every now and then to switch in the Bova to keep your cycle up. That seems to be maybe the best use of a Bova. Otherwise, blowpipe or T-bow is significantly better, or a Dragon Hunter crossbow. Anyway, I'm consistently going from the side 2 to mage side and just hit whenever my Bova can hit. Try to tank the fewest possible hits. And therefore, if I sometimes do not require a hit on me because I'm low HP, I will always miss a hit because the Bova is so fast, like 3 tick or something. And therefore you just must hit with Bova, always. If you somewhat close on low HP or in the dying sense. That's why I don't like the Bova personally. T-bow is way better. It gives you 2 extra ticks. Make sure that you can do a 4-to-1 properly and just only tank once every 4 hits. Anyway, this was it. Thank you guys a lot. Have a good one.